Hello, everyone. My guest today is Lars Helgeson. He started in the internet marketing space in 2000 when he co-founded one of the world's first email service providers, Cooler Email. As a pioneer in responsible email marketing, he grew that company into a global software company specializing in marketing communication with over 1,500 clients. In 2010, after spending several years designing and implementing a more comprehensive way to meet the needs of small and mid-sized businesses, he founded Greenrope, a cloud-based platform that simplifies and consolidates the company's sales, marketing, and operations. The company currently provides tech solutions to over 3,000 companies worldwide. Lars, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely.
All right. So just to be clear, Greenrope, it's not a consulting company. It's pure play SaaS, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. So when you say provides tech solutions to 3,000 companies worldwide, you have 3,000 people paying for your CRM SaaS product.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Very good. All right. So most people are familiar with CRM. Anything you want to add in terms of unique things you do differently?
Well, I think the definition of CRM is kind of what people do differently. If you ask 10 people what CRM means to them, you'll probably get 10 different answers because people have different experiences with different platforms. And a lot of people think of it as a sales tool. But if you really think about what a relationship looks like, it's bigger than just a sales relationship. You've got all different kinds of marketing, customer service, interactions with the customers before, during, and after the closing process. So whether you're doing a B2B sale or a B2C type of interaction, you've still got a fairly complex relationship to model. And what we want to do is have all of that relationship in one single platform and not requiring a lot of separate integrations.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And when you look at kind of your pricing model you've chosen, what's the average SMB paying per month for the product, would you say?
On average, it's about $250 a month. We do not charge per user, which is very different from the way most CRMs work.
You mean per seat?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I don't charge per seat. So it's all based on contacts. So the more contacts you have, and with that, we have unlimited emailing, web analytics, landing pages, everything that you could do. We open up our system to be unlimited because we want companies to be able to scale and grow in a very predictable manner.
Yep. And that's $250 per month or per year?
Per month.
Per month. I mean, can I multiply that by 3,000? You're doing about $750,000 a month right now in revenue?
No, because a lot of our clients come to us through a reseller channel. So that's the other thing that we do that's very different, where we sell, and the majority of our customers actually come through us that way, where we will white label or private label our platform. And as a result, we take a small percentage so that the other companies, our resellers, can then go after their channels and sell to those individually.
Okay. So what percentage do you usually keep?
It's roughly like 30 to 50%, depending on the relationship.
Okay. So if we take kind of lowest revenue for you, these guys are selling it for an average $250 kind of per logo. And then you're essentially keeping 30% of that, or about $75.
Yeah. So we keep 30 to 50% roughly.
Yeah. So $75 would be the worst case on $250. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, and look, the reason I'm doing that is I want to get kind of a minimum MRR. So 3,000 times 75 instead of times 250 would put you at $225,000 a month instead of $750 a month. Is that generally accurate?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we're north of that, but yeah, exactly.
That's great. And help me understand growth. So a year ago, where were you?
It's been pretty organic. I've never taken seed funding. It's always been from the revenue that we've generated, and we've kept the company small.
How many people?
Really, we're only 22 people.
Oh, great. And where's everyone based? Remote?
Yeah, everyone's remote. So we have a virtual company. We've been doing it that way since the very beginning, and it allows us to be very nimble and agile, and come up with what the product that really best serves our market in combination with really good customer service. And if you look us up online, you'll see that one of the things everyone raves about is how good customer service is when they work with us. And when it comes to CRM, it's a very complex product. In any business, it doesn't matter what you're doing, relationships can be complicated and you need help. You want to know that if you buy off on some software that you're not going to be forced to go it on your own or have to hire a consultant for however many $100 an hour to make the CRM work. And so we work very hard to make it easy and walk people through the strategic side as well as the actual implementation side.
And again, when we look at growth rate, so if you're doing north of 225 today per month, what were you doing about a year ago and call it October 2017?
I think we're on track for about a 20% growth, 25% growth. So we're not in hockey stick mode,
Well, yeah, but you also are bootstrapped. You also own more of the company, right? Which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So look, 20% growth would mean you were doing, call it maybe 180K per month about a year ago. Now you're north of 225. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And where's most of that growth coming from? Is it just signing up more resellers or something else?
It's a combination. People come to us directly and create their own accounts directly, and then we also have people that come to us and sign up through resellers. So resellers tend to be bigger relationships where we'll partner with somebody who's got a channel, and they'll private label our software. And whether they're an agency or they're a consulting firm or a thought leader in a space who wants to offer the product to their channel, then it gives them a way to do a lot of recurring revenue and really cement the relationship between them and their channel, because everyone needs CRM.
Yeah.
And if it's their CRM, then it really creates a bond between them and the client.
Are you are all those kind of, I guess you're paying out between 50 and 70% to each reseller because you're keeping 30 to 50. Is that in perpetuity?
It is. It is.
So there's no way for you to buy out that revenue stream, even if you pay them 12 months up front or anything like that.
Well, we don't want to. Because we want them to really own the relationship. And that's the real advantage that they have by licensing our technology, is that then they get the opportunity to reach out to their channel, offer them software that really speaks to what their channel really needs, because everyone's going to need a CRM and a marketing platform. And if they can offer that to their customers are going to want to stay with them. So we don't want to buy out that channel because we want them to continue to grow their business running on our technology. And it's sort of a fundamental difference between the way a lot of SaaS companies work, where they think in terms of how can I grow my business very quickly and flip it and make a multiple and move on to the next thing. I've been doing this now for 18 years, and it's about creating a sustainable revenue model, creating technology that really is valuable for the end user in perpetuity.
Yeah, and Lars, I would argue, just in all fairness, I would argue people are not always looking. They're always looking to grow fast. They're not always looking to go flip it and make a buck tomorrow.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right. Not everybody is, but it's a common thing in our space that people envision entrepreneurs as people who start businesses and then get a bunch of customers. And then once the daily active users number hits a certain amount, they get a certain multiple and they walk away with a certain multiple.
Yeah, I mean, daily active user would be kind of consumer space. I'd say it's obviously different in a SaaS space. But look, once you raise VC, your contract changes, right? There's what you have to generate a return. So you're bootstrapped. You don't have to do that. I totally get it. That being said, you still want to grow faster, right? If you believe in your product and you're making more revenue, it means you can hire more people and make the product more valuable, right? So I don't buy the argument that, you wouldn't want to grow faster if you could find ways to do it.
Well, it depends on how people want to scale their business. I want to make sure that the company stays small and focused on our customer base, and that we can, as we scale, we don't sacrifice the quality of product and quality of customer service. And if we're able to do that gradually and organically without sacrificing the end, it's challenging running a virtual company with people that are scattered all over the world. The majority of us are in the United States, but it's growing and scaling has to be done very carefully and methodically to make sure that there is no loss of quality of experience.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with all of that, but true or false, if you had 100 extra engineers today, yes, it would be painful to onboard them. But once they were onboarded, you can make a significantly more valuable product, right, with 100 extra engineers. You could try and argue me on that, but I'm going to push back really, really hard.
Well, if you consider that our product has been built by 6 engineers and all of the things it can do, and you compare it to companies like HubSpot or Salesforce that have 1,000 times our size, I would argue that their software is fairly better. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm not saying that because you have. I won't say that a company that has 1,000 engineers is better than one with 5 or 6, because I would argue that
I'm not using the word better, because it's very subjective. I'm saying you can definitely create more value. The 1% increases you can make drastically increase if you have more engineers. Your roadmap velocity will drastically increase. And if you are, as a CEO, are putting in the right roadmap, you should be able to create more value with more engineers.
Yeah. There's something to be said about that. Yeah, but it's not a linear scale. 100 engineers will not give you 100 times the performance.
No, I definitely did not say that. I'm saying incrementally though, you can knock out more integrations faster, or you can push product, you can do more customization for your white label partners faster, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely true.
So describe, just as we wrap up, describe, churn's critical in a SaaS company. What's your churn today and how do you manage it?
Churn is really about value. When a company sees that they can use your platform and it creates positive ROI and it helps a company run more efficiently, then they're going to stay with it. CRM is very sticky. Our churn rate is very low, partially because of the user experience, but partially because it's such an integrated product. When you have the same software that's running your sales, your marketing, your customer service, your events, your LMS, your learning, your
Lars, sorry,
onboarding.
before you tell me why though, tell me how low it is and then tell me why you've been able to keep it that low. So are we talking like 2% logo churn per month or north or south or what?
But way below that. It fluctuates between like 0.9 and 1.1 or 1.2, depending on the month.
Okay, so and just to be clear, that's revenue churn. That's logo churn, not revenue churn.
Correct. And it's really focused on it's partially service. It's making sure that people can get answers when they have questions. It's providing a complete set of videos, tools, webinars, everything that people can use to learn from and get deeper. It's having a certification program so that people can really get involved and understand both strategically and tactically how to make a CRM and a marketing automation platform work. And then a lot of it is just making sure that we get everyone using the whole platform. It's the same software for using it for sales, whether you're doing B2B or B2C, whether you're doing marketing automation, whether you're doing modeling of customer journeys throughout the entire process through forms and landing pages. And, we've got an LMS built in. We've got a knowledge base.
What's an LMS? System.
Learning management. So, and we do project management. So, all of that is in one single platform. And when you have all of that combined, it means that you don't need to hire engineers to do the integration work. And the devil is always in the details when it comes to that. The integration is why our total cost of ownership is always less than 10% of what our competitors do, because you don't have to do integration. If you're going to try and pull a marketing automation system into a CRM and then try to combine event management, project management, knowledge management, learning management, all the other things that go with that, that's where your costs start to scale out of the park. And that's
Lars, just to be clear, I have to be devil's advocate though. There are people that you compete with directly who are massive companies, bootstrapped or that have raised capital in each of those unique spaces, and they're not as diluted as you. They've got 6 engineers focused on one thing to make it more valuable versus 7 things. So, how do you manage that?
Well, the proof is in the pudding. When people log on and they use our platform and they compare them, they'll pick us. And the question is, just because you have 6 engineers and make a fuller featured product doesn't necessarily make it a better product. You might create features that nobody cares about or uses. We want to make something that addresses over 90% of the market. And that's where our strength is.
Yeah, but Lars, I'm asking that question because I have a list in front of me, other bootstrap companies that play in the same exact space that are bootstrapped, that do one of those things really well and have 10 or 11 times your revenue, right? So assuming that the product roadmap is accurate, there are products, if you measure just based on how many customers they've signed up, that are adding more value than what yours is. What you're saying is the reason our churn is so low is because they integrate to all things at once. And all I'm asking is, how do you make sure you don't get eroded by point solution players over time?
Well, when people log in and they create their accounts, they don't leave. That's really the simple answer. We don't have an issue with people leaving our platform. If they're using a project management system, they don't need to go to Basecamp or Asana or Jira. If they want to use a learning management system, there are more capable LMSs out there on the market. But when we're able to address over 90% of the market, then we are able to satisfy what their requirements are. And so that's really how we work, is to scale out and really support what our customers really need. And so I don't like to play. Obviously there's always going to be some comparison, but really it's about what do our clients need. And, you might go in and say, Basecamp has some features that we don't have. And that's okay. Does that really matter to our customer? If it does, then they'll go and use that point solution and set up an integration. If it doesn't, then there's no point in them spending all the extra time and energy and money in going after a separate point solution just to do all the work it takes to integrate that back to the CRM.
Sure. Again, it's not just your current customers. It's someone who wants to buy a tool like this, and they compare both things and they go, you know what? I chose Basecamp. You have no idea what your lost opportunity cost is from people that never hit one of your lead forms or your onboarding because they went, to Basecamp first. And that's really what I'm trying to quantify and understand how you think about is again, that potentially lost opportunity cost because you're doing 7 things at once.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, we focus on ourselves being as a CRM and a marketing automation platform. Those other things are useful things that most other businesses need, but ultimately we go after the CRM and marketing automation market. That's where we go, and this is where we focus, because the CRM really is the core of all of those relationships. There will be other, taking project management as an example. There may be other solutions out there that are better suited for the company, in which case then we work with them to set up that integration point. But we are a CRM first and a marketing automation platform first. And when you start looking at the other things, if we're able to meet the requirements, then that's great. And if not, then we work through an integration with them. And we're on Zapier and doing all the things to make things easier. Idea is how do we really address the client's needs? That's what our focus is on.
Yep. Let's wrap up here, Lars, with the famous 5 number 1. What's your favorite business book?
Aside from my own CRM for Dummies.
Yep.
Because it took me a year to write. I would say probably Crossing the Chasm.
Yeah, Jeffrey Moore. That's a good one. Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Elon Musk.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business besides your own?
Well, it's probably the one we use the most is Google Analytics, or Google AdWords. So
wait, hold on. So what are you using AdWords on? Do you use that to attract resellers or direct customers?
Both.
Interesting. So if you sign up direct, a $250 a month customer, what is your CAC when you are using a paid channel?
I think it fluctuates from month to month, but it varies between about $800 and $1,200 a month, or $1,200, to acquire the customer.
Okay, got it. So $800 a month to get $250 a month in revenue. So call it like a 5-month payback, something like that.
About that, yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, good. Sorry, where were we here? Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
It varies between 5 and 8.
Okay, we'll call it 6.5 there. And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Single, no kids, except a dog. I have a fur son.
He travels with you, or she?
Not to Europe, but
okay.
Around the US, yeah.
That's good. And Lars, how old are you?
46.
46. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I don't know. I kind of like going through life not knowing all the answers and figuring things out as I go.
Exploring can be fun. There you guys have it from Lars. Launched in 2010, Greenrope CRM marketing automation with some other tools like LMSs built in around it. Team of 22 people, bootstrapped, which I love, serving about 3,000 customers, mainly via a reseller channel. Those resellers typically charge $250 a month. He's keeping anywhere between 30 and 50%. So call it minimum $75 per month per customer, doing about north of 225 grand per month today. That's about 20% year over year. Healthy growth. Economics really healthy too. Less than 1% logo churn per month. It's sticky once it's fully integrated. When they do spend directly to acquire a customer, they'll spend maybe $800 to get $250 a month in revenue. So call it a 4 to 5 month payback period. Team is totally remote. Lars, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much for having me.